Hello everyone and welcome to the Resin Etiquette YouTube channel. Today we are working on a gorgeous creation. Look at this Harry Potter round coaster set. I can't say Harry Potter on like Etsy and stuff, but let's be honest, it's Harry Potter inspired. And they glow in the dark, so it's like magical, you know, like a spell. So I'm starting out, again, this is a experiment with the water slide paper. I'm still getting the hang of it. I don't like how it like crinkled, but I think that was my own fault using the hairdryer too much and it dried out the acrylic spray, I think. I don't know for sure. I think that's what did it though. But anyways, I'm going in with UV resin here, adding a bunch of little droplets because I want it to resemble raindrops. And the inspiration here is the scene in Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban when they're on the train on the way to school and the Dementors stop the train. You know, it's all rainy and spooky looking, everything's really blue toned, and there's raindrops all over the window whenever Ron puts his hand to the window. That's kind of what this is inspired of, that scene. So I wanted to add all of the raindrops, and the plan for the colors was to be all blue and glow in the dark, so it looked like a Patronus for Dementors, you know? And it had these little witch hat patterns that I bought online, and I thought they'd be a perfect fit to supplement the silhouette of the Dementor that's on the other coasters. So again, continually just going in, adding a bunch of different variations of the UV resin dots so it looks like, you know, natural rain. And I saw this method used on coasters before, and I've used it on coasters before, but I sold that set. And what I ended up doing was only using chameleon flakes inside of the resin pour, and those chameleon flakes make those raindrops stand out so beautifully because it adds a whole nother dimension to it when you look at it from the other side. This time though, I'm using more than just the chameleon flakes because I wanted some more dimension into it, especially with that Patronus there. So I'm using the blue to purple chameleon flakes, the Roleo blue mica pigment, the Ultimate Glow phosphorus acrylic paint, and the J. Diction epoxy resin, along with the Let's Resin white alcohol ink. I love using that white alcohol ink because it's so much thicker than any other alcohol ink that I've ever used. Actually, I think it's more of a pigment than an alcohol ink. I don't know, it might be. But it's just very, very thick, and a little bit goes a long way. I think that was 2 drops that I used in it. I also added a little bit of black glitter to the black, just, again, to make it a little more intense, a little more dimensional. Then I added the blue mica to the phosphorus acrylic paint, and this is where I ran into a problem. I didn't know it at the time, but I definitely found out afterward because I added way too much phosphorus acrylic paint to the mixture, and now the coasters are still flexible. I don't think they're ever going to cure completely to a hardened finish, but they're still firm in the sense that they hold their shape, but they're bendable and flexible, like they're kind of rubbery, just like acrylic paint gets after it's completely dry. So I don't think they will ever have a problem of not being able to form back into their original cured shape because there's enough epoxy resin to hold that shape. I just think they're going to be pretty malleable for life, but they're still so beautiful, and the glow in the dark effect with it, and it's, you know, magical and Harry Potter related. It's fun. So I'm doing the marbling pattern again. You know, I just love that so much. Even though with the exothermic reaction that happens, you kind of can't really, I mean, you can tell that it's marbled, but when you pour the resin while it's still really wet, the marbling doesn't really stick to just marbling. It turns more into like a blended, blurred kind of effect. Unless you wait until everything thickens up a lot, then everything stays more separate because the colors can't merge together. The exothermic reaction isn't as intense, and everything doesn't move as much because it's already done the exothermic reaction while it was in the cup instead of it happening in the mold. But I'm adding the chameleon flakes first, mainly because I wanted the black to stand out against the bright blue. And on the coaster holder, that has a stag Patronus, and I wanted that one to match the blue behind it so it would kind of look like it was a spell happening, you know? That was my idea anyway. So just going in with the phosphorus, popping all the bubbles. Again, from Steve McDonald, use your lighter, not your torch, while it's in a mold, because your torch will cure or melt inside of your cured resin, and it's not fun. Because then you've wasted a mold and you have to buy another one. And now for the ultimate dimension adder, the black. I wanted to try and use this at the end of everything else, once I had established the blues and the whites down by the black water slide paper, or the black ink on the water slide paper, because I didn't want the black to blend in with the water slide paper, because then you would lose the definition of what's printed on the front anyway. So my plan was to try and keep the black just on the back so it didn't mix too much. That didn't really work, because the black, I guess I poured it from too high, so it forced itself down anyway, but it ended up being okay. It still looked really cool in the end. These have now been curing for about 24 hours, and as you can tell, they are definitely still malleable, still very, very bendy. But they come out and hold their form, and they ended up looking so good. The only thing I don't like about them is that you can see the outline of the water slide paper. And I think going forward, what I can do to stop that is just pour a layer of clear resin first, put the water slide paper in the clear resin, let that cure completely, then pour the rest. Because the water slide paper was pressed down onto the mold first, it doesn't make sense to me that that the edges don't disappear, because they should, since it's, you know, clear resin going by clear acrylic spray, but they don't for some reason. So maybe if I put resin down first, they actually will. So I'm just demolding all of these and setting them down flat. That is something that's good to know if you buy resin work and it's not cured all the way yet. Like if you order it, you know, fresh out of the mold, and they're still tacky, if they do bend in shipping, just sit them down on a flat surface for a little while and they should lay down flat again. And you can even leave them there for a couple of days, and if it doesn't have way too much phosphorus acrylic paint in it, you should be able to let them cure. And now the glow in the dark effect, and you can see the water slide paper silhouette against the glow, and that is exactly what I wanted. I'm leaving the base in the mold for a while just so they can continue to cure a little bit longer. But I did take them outside to sit in the warm sun for a few days so they could cure even more. Didn't do anything for it, but see, it does hold its form as long as it's sitting on a flat surface. If you liked today's video, don't forget to leave me a thumbs up. Let me know in the comments what you'd like to see next. I thank you guys so much for watching today's video, and I'll see you again in the next one. Bye!